Hello everyone, and welcome. As you can see, I'm already on the water, trying to make it to a spot that I found last year. I'm gonna go out, set up, and maybe make some supper, if I can get there. Last time I was out here last year, Anne and I came out. This is where we came to test our canoe. And I came out about 2 weeks later, and a beaver had dammed the whole place up. He had just finished, so I had to jump the dam to get over. So let's go see if we can make it there. Hopefully the wind isn't interfering with the mic too much. But I got a spot of good news. I came across a couple of kayakers headed out, and they told me that it's not dammed this year. I can actually make it all the way to the lake. Now, the wind seems to be really picking up. Which out here in the little river isn't bad, but hopefully it doesn't make the lake crazy. Because the spot I want to get to is on the other side of the lake. Okay, so the water's high. I just found last year's beaver dam and floated right over it. It's a good foot higher than usual. We have a bit of a good news, bad news situation going on. Let's start with the bad. I am paddling against the current, and most of the time into the wind. Now for the good. If I actually make it to where I'm going, I'm not coming back until after I've had dinner. So when I got a belly full of food, I'll be going with the wind, with the current. So I'm basically just going to be steering. But like I said, that wind is picking up, so that's if I can get to the lake and across it. So I made it across the lake, which is terrific. Because now that I'm on this side, that's the direction the wind is coming from. So the rocks here are blocking the wind. I'm catching a light breeze. But I'm not having to fight so hard to paddle. Yeah, now this right here is what bothers me. A little bit of research online, and I was able to find out right away that you're not supposed to camp here. People camp here. I'm okay with that. If you want to do it, do it. If you don't get caught, bonus for you, you had a great weekend. What I have a problem with is broken beer bottles and cans. And then you step over here to where they had a small fire pit back here. Full of cans. You brought it in, bring it out. And then just over here, an entire roll of toilet paper that they left behind and is now soggy and done, and a chunk of toilet paper that was used. Like, really, people, if you're gonna bring it in, bring it back out. I haven't even been to this spot yet. And again, more garbage laying around the fire pit. There's not as much broken glass as I thought there was. There's a little bit, but it seems to be contained to where they had their fire pit. So I'm okay with that. If the glass is in the fire pit, at least nobody's going to step on it. There's a little bit laying around the fire pit. I will pick that up. But it's a beautiful area. And there's no road to get here. The only way to get here is the way I got here. Paddle. Or take a boat. I went down that little trail and I cleared up the cans that were in the fire pit. Now I'm over here cleaning this one. That's way too much garbage for me to pick up. Out of one little area. So after cleaning all that garbage, set up my chair, and I had brought this as a treat for later, but I think as a treat for cleaning up the garbage. It's a Great Lakes Brewery Pompous Ass English Ale. Oh, unbelievable how amazing it feels just to be out here. I stayed home yesterday working on a little project, but I was in the house all day, or most of the day. And I got up this morning and I just wasn't feeling right. I was cranky, I was tired. And then I finally decided that's it. I'm gonna go for a day trip and go for a little ride in the canoe. And that's all it took. A little ride in the canoe, and by the time I got here, life's problems are gone. It's so relaxing out here. I bought another little toy a couple weeks ago, and we're out here to try it. So this is what I bought. Comes in a nice green case. Now, from all the reviews I've read, everybody says it's a nice case, but it's a very tight fit. And if you get the case wet at all, it shrinks. And then once it shrinks, the grill ain't fitting in there at all. So yesterday, the little project I was working on, I had some old canvas, an old canvas drop cloth. It's got some stains on it, but it's coming in the woods. It's going to get stained anyway. I cut it up and I built another bag identical to this, only I didn't have Velcro, so I used snaps. But I made mine, I took the measurements off this one and I made it about a ½ inch wider. I think it's an inch higher. Because as you see, it's a very tight fit. But it's a grill, as well as, it's called the UCO Flatpack Portable Grill and Fire Pit. I did that video a few weeks ago where we used the toolbox barbecue, and it's basically a charcoal barbecue. But it's heavy to lug around. This is a whole lot lighter. Opens up. You set it on the ground, and then these rounded edges. There's slots in the grill here that are just supposed to drop right in there. And now you've got a grill. 13 inches by 10 inches. It also has, oh, there it is. It also comes with this so that when your grill is hot, you've got something to pull it off. Works with charcoal, works with wood. Now, everything I've seen, people using it with wood complain that once the grill is on, you put your wood in, you light your fire, you put your grill on. If you're cooking your food and your fire is going out and you need to add wood, you have to take the grill off. So I can see that being a bit of a pain in the butt. But if you're using it with charcoal, load it up, light it up, cook your food. And they say it's meant to be used, it doubles as a fire pit. So if you're in an area where you're worried about the fire being on the ground, or you're in an area where you really don't want to damage anything or whatever, you don't have a rock nearby or whatever the case may be, this will raise your fire off the ground, which means you will do less damage to the earth. And you can put your charcoal in it, cook your dinner, and then if you want a fire at night, you can just pop the grill off, fill it with wood. It's not huge. It's not going to make a humongous fire, but it'll be a fire. Now, we had that leftover bag of charcoal that I was using last time, so I grabbed some, put it in a Ziploc bag. I brought just enough to cook tonight's supper. So I'm going to put the charcoal in there later. And what I'm going to do is, I didn't bring any charcoal lighter or anything. I'm just going to go gather some twigs, and I'm going to build a small fire over the charcoal. I'll let that burn down. Then I'll put the grill on. And when the charcoal is ready, we're going to grill up a nice steak. So here's some of that charcoal that I had brought. It's that same stuff that I used last time. There's a ton of birch in the bush right behind me. So I went and gathered up a lot of that. Some of this thinner, finer stuff. I'm going to split this apart. Make tiny strips out of it, as much as we can. Grab my knife out of the barrel. I didn't wear it on me because I knew I was going to be in the canoe. Let's see if I can scrape up some fine powder. without this wind blowing it around too much. Luckily, it's the wind is gusty, so the wind dies down, and it's great for a few minutes, and then all of a sudden, it picks up again. I can get some more of this powder in there before the wind gusts and takes it all away. And there goes my water. That's the only problem with those Dollarama buckets, is if you don't have a spot to hang it, you sometimes lose it. But that's okay. I'll get this lit, and I'll go get another bucket, and I'll try and find a way to prop it up. Now, I bought a new 6-inch Ferro rod from Uberleben. I haven't even used it yet, so I'm gonna have to scrape some of this paint off to get it to go. Okay. Now that should burn just long enough to get the charcoal lit. I decided not to move down on the rock. I found a big flat rock and I put it down right on the edge of this grass here. And I put the stove there because I got a nice big tree here blocking the sun when it comes out. While that's burning down and making a good bed of coals, I'm gonna start doing some prep. I brought out an orange and a yellow pepper. Which I want to leave in nice big chunks. Brought out some tin foil. I'm going to place on this plate and dump the veggies on. Now I'll cut up the yellow pepper. Ow. We'll take a chunk out of our thumb. And that's why I always have an emergency first aid kit in my canoe barrel. Now, let's see if we can continue on without losing any fingers. This is going to be fun. The onion. Now, I'm only going to use half the onion because that's quite a bit of onion. And apparently, I left the Ziploc bags inside there. So we have our peppers. We have our onion. I also brought some mushrooms. And a stick of butter. I'm not going to use the whole stick, but I will use some of it. Just so that it doesn't stick. Now I realize this foil is not big enough. But that's why I brought the whole roll. Now, I'm going to put my gloves on because, as I said earlier, I know I'm going to have to touch this thing at some point just to get the grill in. There we go. Okay. Now we've got some good heat going from that coal. So let's get the veggies on there and get them started. I can hear the butter sizzling in with the veggies. I've been turning them over here and there. But I don't mind my vegetables to have a little bit of crunch left in them. So I think I'm going to try and scoot that to the side and see if I can fit my steak on there. Now, I tried something different this week. Usually, if I'm bringing steak, I bring the steak out. I bring out some oil. I put a bit of oil on it. I put my Montreal steak spice and my garlic. And then I grill it. But I always freeze my steaks before coming out just so that they'll last that much longer and I can cook them because I knew I'd be in the sun all afternoon. So what I did this time is I oiled and spiced my steak, put it in a Ziploc, and then I froze it. So I get out here, the steak has thawed and it's already marinating in its own spices. Pretty much thawed out now. It's a sirloin grilling steak. Yep, that should fit there. I've got the veggies moved over. Nicely spiced on both sides. With a nice sizzle when I throw it on the grill. Oh yeah. That's looking gorgeous. So, as a grill, very lightweight, only weighs a few pounds, folds up flat, nice and easy to keep in the car. Taking it in the canoe, no problem. Backpacking, only if I'm using wood. I wouldn't want to carry the extra weight of the charcoal. It's not something I'll use all the time, but I'll pop it out once in a while. And it's plenty big enough. I could probably put 4 burgers on there, no problem, and that'll feed Anne and I easily. For 2 people, I don't see a problem with that grill. Now, I don't have time to try it out really as a fire pit tonight because I got to get back before dark. But at some point this summer, I will definitely test it out as a fire pit and see how it handles that. But as a charcoal grill, that thing will be fantastic. As long as it keeps being able to fold and put away. Like here, I've got the lake, so I could always just dump the ashes in the lake, or I could dump the ashes in the fire pit, which is right there, and then douse the fire pit. Either way works. Personally, I would prefer to put it in the fire pit and then douse the fire pit so that I'm not putting anything at all directly in the lake. And then it's just a matter of sitting around for a little while to let the stove cool before I go. Oh well, I have to spend more time out here? Ah, that breaks my heart. But it's been going good for a long time, and I can still put my hand on the rock underneath. I barely feel any heat under there at all. So I could see how it would help to protect the ground underneath. We've got the old canoe barrel table set up. I'm gonna pull off the veggies here. Because they seem nice and warm and done. Oh yeah, look at that. It's a little warm on the fingers. Oh yeah. Okay, I gotta show you this. Look at that. Oh, here, before I put that down, while it's in my hands, may as well grab my fork and put a bit of that on my plate. Oh yeah, that's done. I would even say it's a little overdone. Oh, but it smells delicious. Look at that. Mm. Mm. The veggies are warm. We still got just a bit of crunch in them. Fantastic. Now for the steak. Oh. Mm. After marinating in those spices, so flavorful. Wow. That's amazing. Still quite a bit of heat coming out of those coals. I'd still be able to cook for quite a while. I went and picked up some cones because now the grill is a little gunky. So I'm thinking that if I scrape them a little bit with the cones, it knocks most of the junk off. Wow. Okay, I'm impressed. That actually did a very good job. The fire pit is just over there. This thing is still pumping out tons of heat, but because of the way the legs are, I can grab it from the legs underneath and go dump it over there. And now I can just let it sit here in the wind and let it cool. As soon as I dump the coals in the pit, some of them are touching this log and it's already starting to smolder. There was still lots of burn time left in those. Not gonna burn now. I'm looking at the grill. And I don't see very much warpage yet. Which is good. Oh, wow. It's already cool to the touch, and I only dumped it a few minutes ago. Well, that's good. Oh. I may have to let it cool just a bit more. It doesn't seem to want to close. And now that I've let it cool a little bit longer, it folds up way better. So thankfully that's all it was. Because of all the reviews I've watched, nobody ever said anything about it not folding back up again. It could just be a matter of I tried to fold it up a little too fast. We'll have to test it out again and see what happens on the next run. But there it is, all folded up, put away. That rock is not hot at all. So far, other than the folding problem at the end, seems like it'll be a pretty good little grill. We'll have to test it out some more and see. So after cleaning up the garbage up on the rock, and then coming down here, I knew there was a bit more down here, so I cleaned up down here as well. And we've got half of a large garbage bag. And if you'll remember, I said coming in here that on the way out I'm going to have the wind at my back. Well, it's a good thing, because the garbage is going at the front. And with the wind at my back, it'll be pushing the smell of the garbage away from me. Because I don't want to be smelling that all the way home. So all that work battling the wind earlier is paying off now. The wind is pushing me back. Fantastic. Couldn't ask for better after a good meal like that. Coming up on the hydro line, which means a couple more corners and we'll be getting traffic noises, sounds of the highway. So this is as good a place as any for me to end this video. So if you liked what you saw, go ahead and hit the like button. If you want to see more of it, hit the subscribe button. I want to thank you one more time for watching the video and hitting the like button, commenting when you can. And on the next one, I'll try not to bleed so much. Try and leave with all the pieces of my thumbs. We'll see you on the next one.